I had always been fascinated by the dark web, its mysterious corners hiding secrets and curiosities that most people wouldn't dare to explore. One evening, fueled by my curiosity, I found myself browsing a particularly shady forum, and there it was, the listing that would change my life forever: Mystery Box Unearth the Unknown. Without a second thought, I clicked the link and contacted the anonymous seller, a shadowy figure known only as the Keeper. Negotiations were swift, and within days, I received a nondescript package, wrapped in black paper, that sent shivers down my spine. Even with sweat trickling down my forehead, I was overjoyed that it finally arrived. Carefully, I unwrapped the package, revealing a wooden box adorned with cryptic symbols carved into its surface. A small, yellowed note accompanied it, reading, "Beware the curse that lies within." My heart raced as I hesitated, wondering if this was all just an elaborate hoax. But my insatiable curiosity got the best of me, and I cautiously opened the box. Inside, nestled in a bed of velvet, lay the cursed artifact, an eerie, obsidian pendant engraved with even more enigmatic markings. The moment I touched it, a surge of coldness coursed through my fingers, making me recoil. I knew I had to uncover the truth behind this artifact, so I began my investigation. Beware. I jolted in panic as I looked around, trying to find where that whisper came from. It was probably nothing, I thought to myself. Just breathe. Hours turned into days as I delved deep into the history of these symbols, consulting ancient texts, and connecting with experts in the occult. What I discovered sent chills down my spine. The pendant was linked to a sinister cult that had existed for centuries, invoking dark forces and performing unspeakable rituals. Beware, beware. This time I knew my ears couldn't have failed me. As I unearthed more about the cult's history, I realized that their members had been plagued by misfortune, mysterious disappearances, and a string of gruesome deaths. It seemed the curse mentioned in the note was very real. Driven by a growing sense of dread, I decided to pack everything away and ignore the eerie atmosphere it brought around it. However, I began experiencing vivid, haunting nightmares. Each night, the pendant seemed to grow colder, and its sinister energy became palpable. I couldn't escape the feeling that something dark and ancient was watching me. In a desperate bid to break the curse, I sought out a reclusive expert in the occult. They explained that the only way to rid myself of the pendant's curse was to return it to the cult's hideout and perform a ritual of cleansing. It was a dangerous journey into the heart of darkness, but I had no other choice. "You have to be careful, or you could die during the ritual," they said. "I have no other option," I replied. "These nightmares have gone too far now." As I stood before the cult's hidden sanctuary, the pendant in one hand and a candle in the other, I could feel the malevolent forces closing in. The ritual was my only hope for redemption, and I recited the incantations with every ounce of strength I had left. "Beware!" a voice bellowed. "Beware of my presence. Be afraid of me." Suddenly, the pendant emitted an ear-piercing shriek, and a blinding light engulfed me. Everyone screamed their prayers over the large entity that hovered before us, continuing to drag it away back into the underworld. When I regained my senses, the pendant had crumbled to dust, and an overwhelming sense of relief washed over me. The curse had been broken. From that day forward, I swore to never again delve into the dark web's mysteries. I had tasted the malice that lurked in the shadows and had narrowly escaped its grasp. The cursed artifact was a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurked in the darkest corners of the internet, and I vowed to leave them unexplored forever. Story 2. I always considered myself an avid explorer of the deep corners of the internet. The thrill of the unknown and the allure of forbidden knowledge drew me in like a moth to a flame. It was during one of my late-night browsing sessions that I stumbled upon something that would haunt my nightmares for weeks to come: the Cannibal Cafe. It was a whispered legend in the darkest recesses of the dark web, a place where the most twisted desires of humanity found a home. The very name sent shivers down my spine, but curiosity got the better of me. I knew I had to see it for myself. "Are you nuts?" my friend yelled over the phone. "Imagine they decide to eat you instead?" "Oh, shut up," Nothing is going to happen," I exclaimed. "I'm not an idiot to get into the crossfire. You're an idiot for even doing this right now." "Whatever." After painstakingly configuring my VPN, I accessed the website. Its landing page was shockingly plain, with an eerie logo depicting a blood-soaked dinner plate adorned with human bones. My heart raced as I clicked on the forum section. "This is it," I whispered. There, in that digital abyss, I found myself surrounded by like-minded individuals. People who reveled in the grotesque, discussing their most depraved fantasies with an unsettling nonchalance. They spoke of butchery techniques, shared macabre stories, and even exchanged recipes for cooking human flesh. The details were sickeningly vivid, and I couldn't help but feel a wave of revulsion wash over me. As I browsed through the threads, I noticed something peculiar. One user, who went by the handle Gourmet Butcher, seemed different from the rest. While others boasted of their gruesome desires, Gourmet Butcher expressed a deep concern for the ethical and moral aspects of cannibalism. It was as if they were trying to understand the psychological motivations behind it rather than indulging in the madness. Intrigued and disturbed, I decided to initiate a private chat with Gourmet Butcher. Their response was swift and unexpected. "I'm glad you reached out," they typed. "I've been researching this topic for years, trying to comprehend why people are drawn to such dark desires. It's a psychological puzzle." "Honestly, same," I replied. "It's fascinating to understand why a person would go out of their way to do something extremely taboo, even sinister." We delved into long, thought-provoking discussions about the human psyche, the nature of taboo, and the boundaries of morality. Our conversations became a bizarre connection in this twisted world, as we both tried to make sense of the horrors that surrounded us. Weeks turned into months, and our virtual friendship deepened. My friend was worried at first, rightfully so. But the more I talked to Gourmet Butcher, the more I could conclude that he was just like me, a person who didn't participate in any of the gruesome activities, and was only interested in the why. Gourmet Butcher confided in me, revealing a shocking secret. They were not just an online observer but an investigative journalist who had infiltrated the dark web to expose the sinister world of the Cannibal Cafe. Their mission was to unmask the true identities of its members and bring them to justice. My world tilted on its axis. I had initially entered this dark abyss out of sheer curiosity, but now I found myself unwittingly entangled in a mission to unveil its horrifying secrets. Together, we dug deeper, uncovering the digital breadcrumbs that led to the real identities of some of the forum's members. Then came the night that would change everything. Gourmet Butcher, whose true name was revealed to be Sarah, contacted me with an urgent message. "I've got a lead on the forum's administrator," she said. "Meet me in person tomorrow. We can't risk discussing this online." Fear mingled with determination as I agreed to the meeting. We chose a nondescript coffee shop in a quiet corner of the city, far removed from the digital darkness that had consumed our lives. I arrived early, my heart pounding in my chest, wondering what awaited me. As I waited, I watched the door intently, but the person who walked in was not Sarah. Instead, it was a disheveled man in his 40s, his eyes filled with desperation. He sat down across from me, trembling. "You're looking for Sarah, right?" he whispered. I nodded, my voice caught in my throat. "She's in grave danger," he continued, his gaze darting around as if expecting someone to burst in at any moment. "The forum's administrator knows she's closing in on him. He's hired a hitman to silence her." My mind raced as I tried to process this revelation. The very world I had ventured into out of morbid curiosity was now threatening the life of someone who had become a friend. It was a chilling reminder of the darkness that could consume even the most well-intentioned intentions. Together, the man and I devised a plan to warn Sarah and protect her from the impending danger. Little did I know that this meeting would lead to a plot twist beyond anything I could have imagined. Questioning the moralities of the dark web has now led me to a newfound mystery of terror and vengeance. Story 3. My name is Alex, and I've always been fascinated by the hidden underbelly of the internet. the allure of the dark web was like a siren's call, beckoning me with its secrets and illicit offerings. It was during my deep dive into the web's murkiest corners that I stumbled upon the notorious Silk Road. The Silk Road, as legend had it, was an online black market that operated from 2011 to 2013. It was a place where anything and everything could be bought or sold with a few clicks of the mouse and the digital currency of choice, Bitcoin. Illegal drugs, weapons, counterfeit documents, it was a bazaar of criminality, all hidden behind layers of encryption and anonymity. At its helm was a shadowy figure known as Dread Pirate Roberts, the enigmatic and pseudonymous mastermind behind this digital underworld. The tales of his empire were whispered in hushed tones across the internet, stories of fast fortunes made and lives ruined. And I, like many others, found myself drawn into the web's darkest corners, eager to explore this virtual den of iniquity. I began as a mere observer, perusing the listings with morbid fascination. The Silk Road was like a digital Wild West, where the rules of society were discarded, and only the cunning and the brave dared to venture. But as weeks turned into months, my curiosity got the better of me. I decided to take the plunge and made my first purchase, a small quantity of a recreational drug I had never dared to try before. As I placed my order and watched the Bitcoin transaction unfold, a mixture of excitement and dread coursed through my veins. It was a dance with the devil, a foray into a world that existed beyond the boundaries of legality and morality. I waited anxiously for my package to arrive, fully aware of the risks. Weeks passed, and the package arrived discreetly, just as promised. The thrill of holding something illegal in my hands was intoxicating, and I couldn't help but wonder what other forbidden treasures lay waiting on the Silk Road. I began to delve deeper, exploring the forums and communities that had sprung up around the marketplace. There, I met fellow explorers of the dark web, each with their own reasons for being there. Some sought escape from oppressive regimes, while others were motivated by the allure of easy money. One day, as I was browsing a Silk Road forum, I stumbled upon a post that sent a chill down my spine. It claimed to have evidence that Dread Pirate Roberts was not a single person but a group of individuals operating under the same alias. The post hinted at a power struggle within the organization, with members vying for control. I couldn't resist the temptation to investigate further. I reached out to the anonymous poster, who agreed to share their findings with me. We communicated through encrypted channels, piecing together a web of intrigue and deceit that extended far beyond the confines of the Silk Road. As I dug deeper, I uncovered a plot that would change the course of my journey forever. The evidence pointed to a conspiracy involving not only the Silk Road but also high-ranking government officials. It seemed that the dark web was not just a haven for criminals but a battleground for a shadowy war between powerful forces. The twist came when I discovered that my anonymous source was none other than an undercover agent tasked with dismantling the Silk Road and bringing its operators to justice. I had unwittingly become a pawn in a game far more dangerous than I could have ever imagined. With the agent's guidance, I played my part in the takedown of the Silk Road. Dread Pirate Roberts was eventually unmasked, and the true extent of the marketplace's operations came to light. Ross Ulbricht, the man behind the alias, was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. As I reflect on my journey into the heart of the dark web, I can't help but wonder if my initial curiosity was a blessing or a curse. I had ventured into a world of crime and deception, but in doing so, I had also played a role in exposing the truth and bringing those responsible to justice. It was a journey that forever changed my perception of the internet's hidden depths, where secrets and conspiracies lurked in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered.